Kuzuzangpo and welcome to Bhutan This Week. I am Sherab Zangmo. Our top stories for this week. His Majesty the King granted land kidu in Tagala last Friday. His Majesty also granted royal cashos for the formation of interim government, the election days for the parliamentary elections 2013 last Sunday. Residents in Ha are protesting against a mining feasibility study. His Majesty the King granted land kidu to 25 households in Dagala last Saturday. His Majesty, accompanied by Her Majesty the Gyaltsen, also visited the Yangchen Gasel Lower Secondary School in Chamgang.
His Majesty granted 25 households in Dagala land kidu of 13 decimals each. His Majesty told the people that they must safeguard their land, as it would allow them to belong to a place and to improve their lives. I hand over this land to you with the hope that it will be of great benefit to you and your children, His Majesty said. This is the third batch of people receiving land kidu. The first was in 1982 when His Majesty the 4th Druk Gyalpo granted 32 households 1 acre each. In 1986, 16 households received 50 decimals each. The recipients today are the last of the nomads to receive land kidu. One of today's kidu recipients, Tandin Penjo, shared how grateful he was to receive the kidu. Another kidu recipient, Kuchum, echoed Tandin Penjo's sentiments. Both of them are nomads and have children studying at the Yangchen Gasel Lower Secondary School. The people of Dagala Gyok are nomads. They live in Dagala during summers and come down to Chamgang during the winter months. The people submitted that they would like to build permanent houses on the land received because of the many hardships they faced as nomads. Earlier, Their Majesties had met with the students of the Yangchen Gasel Lower Secondary School. His Majesty the King interacted with the students of the school and encouraged them to be good people above all else. He also told them to never give up on their dreams. While His Majesty granted an audience to the teachers of the school, Her Majesty visited classrooms and interacted with the students. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen granted the people of Dagala, Tokha and Sera. Tenzin Rabke, BBS News.
His Majesty the King granted a royal cashew for the formation of the interim government to the Chief Justice last Sunday.
The Chief Justice, along with 6 others, were summoned to the throne room and granted a royal cashew to form the interim government. The royal cashew on the formation of the interim government reads, quote, on 20th April 2013. Accordingly, as per the Constitution of the Kingdom of Bhutan, the establishment of the interim government is hereby decreed so that the Lhenge Jungso, headed by the Prime Minister, can resign from office to prepare for the upcoming elections. The interim government shall comprise of the following advisors. Lempo Sonam Topke, Chief Justice of Bhutan, as the Chief Advisor. Lempo Om Pradhan, DHI Chairman. Tasho Pema Thinle, RUB Vice Chancellor. Tasho Karma Ura, Director General of CBS. Tasho Nitin Zangmo, ACC Chairperson. Tasho Tsewang Rinzin, Managing Director of DGPC. Thinle Doji, Managing Director of BBS. The interim government is mandated to conduct the routine functions of government and shall cease to exist when the new Prime Minister enters office upon the constitution of the National Assembly after the second parliamentary elections, issued on the 28th of April 2013, corresponding to the 18th day of the 3rd month of the water female snake year. Unquote. Article 19, Section 4 of the Constitution states, interim government shall carry out the routine functions of the government, but shall not be entitled to take any agreement with foreign government or organizations. Tenzin Rabke, BBS News.
Following the royal kasho on the formation of the interim government, His Majesty the King granted another royal kasho to the Chief Election Commissioner Dasho Kunzawangdi, announcing the election days for the 2013 parliamentary elections.
His Majesty granted a royal kasho to the Chief Election Commissioner Dasho Kunzawangdi on the election dates for the 2013 parliamentary elections. The primary round of the elections will take place on 31st May and the general round will follow on 13th July.
Hamai na zaktu lenzugi be de genga rubum be bakti de tu masho be lej be chashil da telu majagare gi katule nyarang da gari ga so bomberu yul de dororang ajere gyagabnalu de gyarabnu tsubigi chala jebikap de zaktu lenzugi de genga rubum be bakti mise de gebki rewale laktibe 제기 데 마투투페 차슈골 당아라기 데 멜롬데 데 메시지 가야라 작두 고진타비가 데 짐지내기 사사주메 참 또또베 데 제분이루 펜 도비기 데 잘라 카치도 데 제브다 데 땡아에 마제르 메시지기베 genka baktibe 데 테나루 자모동 노이기 데 레와데 멜롬이울.
The royal kasho on the election dates for the 2013 parliamentary elections reads, quote, "In accord with the Constitution of the Kingdom of Bhutan, it is hereby decreed that the second parliamentary elections to the National Assembly shall commence with the poll date of the primary round on 31st May 2013 and the poll date of the general elections on 13th July 2013. The Constitution of Bhutan vests immense importance to the National Assembly as a law-making body conferred with special legislative powers. The National Assembly is also the house from which the ruling and the opposition parties provide for the emergence of nationally significant portfolios such as the Prime Minister, the Lhengi Jungtso, and the leader of the opposition party. As the people of Bhutan are aware, periodic elections are fundamental to a vibrant democracy as they provide the main forum to express the general will of the people in national governance through the selection of good and capable candidates for representing the greater interests of the nation and important concerns of our people. Therefore, it is imperative for every eligible voter to exercise his or her fundamental right to vote in the upcoming National Assembly elections. The Election Commission of Bhutan shall conduct the aforementioned 2 rounds of elections to the National Assembly as per the provisions of the Constitution, electoral laws, and pertinent rules and regulations to ensure free and fair elections and to uphold the principles of democracy and rule of law enshrined in our Constitution. Issued on the 28th of April 2013, corresponding to the 18th day of the 3rd month of the water female snake year." Unquote. After both the royal kashos were granted, the members including election commissioners and the ECB director received an audience from His Majesty the King. Tenzin Rabke, BBS News.
The Election Commission of Bhutan, after the royal decree, officially issued the schedule of the National Assembly elections at a press conference on Monday.
This morning, the Chief Election Commissioner made a detailed reading of events leading up to the general elections scheduled on 13th of July. Beginning today, the political parties will begin their submission of letters of intent for their eligibility in the elections, and eligible postal voters will start submitting their applications for ballots to respective returning officers. The letters of intent will be scrutinized by the Election Commission on 6th May, which is also the date when political parties can start campaigning. Kunzawangdi did make it clear that during this period, parties should refrain from making specific promises.
The campaign for the primary round will be party-based, and we expect that the parties and their supporters will carry out the campaign based on party manifesto, vision and mission. So which means what you would expect during the campaign for the primary round is that parties only talk about these subjects, not necessarily on bridges and roads and schools, etc.
The activities that will be carried out by parties and candidates should be strictly in accordance with the approval of returning officers. A party can withdraw from the elections on or before the 8th of May. The Commission, with experience gathered from the National Council elections, particularly regarding the postal ballot, has considered certain improvements.
One of which is we will create so-called clinics in some public places. So anybody who wants some help required on a reasonable time period on the eve of certain events, that service will be made available. While we have requested Commissioner Choke to take the trouble of long distance inquiries, particularly. There are a lot of students and a lot of people who are abroad, confused, want to know more about. This time we have also incorporated the email addresses of returning officers on the notification itself. We hope, my colleagues have assured me that all information that they have put in are correct. Because last time we had cases where the email address given was wrong, and then in the event some people had difficulty.
The primary round of elections, scheduled for 31st May, will see two political parties with the highest votes being invited to nominate a candidate for every constituency to contest in the general elections. Compiled for Sonfinso, Pemasuki for BBS News.
As the country prepares to go to the polls, this is how events are likely to unfold up until the final phase of the National Assembly elections 2013. Here's taking a look at the elections calendar.
Beginning today, registered political parties have until the 5th of May to submit their letters of intent to the Election Commission of Bhutan. On 6th May, the Commission will begin scrutinizing the letters of intent and on the same day issue the letter of acceptance or rejection. 6th May is also the day when political parties will start applying for the election campaign fund and commence campaigning. The Commission will release the funds the next day. The 8th of May is the last date for withdrawal from the elections, receiving and mailing of postal ballots by returning officers, and the first public debate for the primary round on party ideologies will be held. On the 10th and 11th, the second public debate on issues will be held, and common forums in all 47 Demkongs will begin. At 9 a.m. on 29th May, the election campaign for the primary round ends and postal ballots will be accepted until 5 in the evening the following day. The poll day for the primary elections is on 31st May. The counting of results will also take place on the same day. On the 1st of June, the ECB will declare the results and submit the same to His Majesty the King. Also on 1st June, the two parties that have secured the highest total votes in the primary round will start filing the nominations of candidates. The two parties moving to the general elections will have 10 days to file nominations by candidates, after which the Commission will scrutinize the nominations. Post the 10-day period, candidates will also submit their applications for the election campaign fund and begin campaigning for the general round. On the 13th of June, the Commission will release the campaign fund. The 14th of June will be the last date for the withdrawal of candidature. It is on this day that returning officers are expected to start sending postal ballots. 14th June is the last date to receive applications for ballots in case of changes in postal addresses from the time applications were submitted for the primary round. Parties that make it to the general elections will have about a month to campaign. The general campaign period ends on July 11. July 12th is the last day for receiving postal ballots by returning officers. The general elections poll day and the counting of results take place on the 13th of July. After the votes have been counted, the Election Commission of Bhutan will officially declare the results the next day. The Commission will also submit the results to His Majesty the King on the same day. After 5 days, on 19th of July, the Commission will issue certificates of election to NA elects. There will also be a petition period which ends on 26th of July. Sonam Funso for BBS News.
The NA elections this time is different. Bhutan has 5 political parties and 2 rounds of elections. Our reporter Pema Soke explains how this works.
The upcoming National Assembly elections will have 2 rounds of elections, the primary and the general elections. The primary round, which is the first round of elections, is scheduled on 31st May. In the primary round, after the scrutiny of letters of intent of parties by the Election Commission of Bhutan, all registered political parties will be competing for votes. On the poll day of the primary round, voters will cast their votes only for political parties and not for candidates. After the primary round, the two parties securing the highest and the second highest number of votes from all 20 Dzongkhaks will be invited by the Election Commission to nominate 47 candidates to contest in the general elections. For instance, if Party A and Party C make it to the general elections, each party will have 47 candidates, one candidate for every constituency. In the general elections, votes will be cast for candidates only. The second parliamentary elections of the National Assembly is scheduled for 13th July. Pemasuki for BBS News.
For the new political parties, finding qualified and experienced candidates have been a major challenge. Nevertheless, the political parties say they have tried their best to rope in experienced and qualified candidates.
Druk Nyamrup Sokpa, Druk Chiwang Sokpa and Bhutan Kinyam Party are the three new political parties who will contest in the upcoming National Assembly elections. And before that, parties need 47 candidates, but it has not been easy to find qualified and experienced candidates.
In Bhutan, for candidates to join a political party, they have to make a lot of sacrifices. And secondly, there is an uncertainty in politics. So as a result, many of the people who have secure jobs find it difficult to make a decision whether to stay on or whether to go into an uncertain area.
Most experienced candidates are working in the government or private, or they have their own business house. Now, if they are contesting in the election, they need to give up their job or they need to give up their businesses. Most people do not want to take a big risk and leave their, comfort zone in service of the nation.
Party, we have approached almost all the government secretaries, most of the DGs, very prominent businessmen in the country, but they are not forthcoming. The incentives are not too attractive in terms of politics being uncertain. So people do not want to leave what is sure in terms of their career, their income.
However, the new political parties are of the opinion that laws should be more conducive enough to encourage people to join politics. Besides this, providing good incentives for people joining politics is the party's view.
So if in Bhutan also, if we can follow the examples in other countries, especially in the European countries, where people may be allowed to take leave and contest, and if they fail, they can return. I think that will encourage. I think there must be some avenues where we make it more conducive and make it more flexible for people to join politics. If we really want good people to join politics.
Our laws need to be flexible in creating a conducive environment for competent and experienced people to get into politics. Number two, I think we still need to create a lot of awareness about the essence of democracy. You could be in the same family, but yet you could believe in different ideology and be in different party and not let that affect your relationship.
To be able to have good people in politics, to be able to have good people in party politics and democracy, one parameter would be also to have a certain amount of comfort level within ourselves in terms of income, per capita income. And my benchmark would be if one is fairly above, say, a per capita income of $3,000, then probably people may want to engage.
Nonetheless, the parties have confirmed almost all the candidates in the 47 constituencies. Bebel Harden, BBS News.
The residents of Ha Tromde made an appeal to the Dzongkhak office last Friday to stop the ongoing mining feasibility study at Wangsa near Ha Tang. Wangsa, a rocky hill located just a few meters away from the Ha town, is believed to be highly rich in mineral content, and a survey is currently being carried out to study mining possibilities. Residents near the area, however, are complaining that they have not been informed by the Dzongkhak nor Tromde representatives about the activities. They say they found out only yesterday when an excavator was clearing the road. They never asked us. They started their work without notifying the public.
Mineral extraction is not happening in Ha Dzongkhak alone. Mining is being carried out in many other Dzongkhaks, but before the commencement of work, the concerned authority should discuss with the public living in the area. They never did that. They never came to us nor called us for any meetings.
They're now making the underground roll. They're bullying us, so we had to go ahead and request concerned authorities to intervene, says these old women. Hazonrab Jambatshatin said the company in charge of doing the feasibility study is only studying the mineral content and looking into mining possibilities in the area. The Zongrab added that a meeting had been held prior to the survey and there had been a people's representative.
The company has a document to show that they can carry out a survey in the mineral area. We have had meetings on that, but there shouldn't be any adverse effects because of the survey. Major works will be done underground. The works will not be allowed to carry on if done on a large scale. We have discussed in the Zongkak Tsogdu that no mineral extraction work will be allowed in Ha Zongkak.
But the people seem surprised that a certain Pema June had represented them during the meeting. They say they have their own Chomle Thimi as their rightful representative and therefore have been asking how Pema June came to be their representative. We went to the Zongkak to inquire and they said that Pema June had come as a representative from the people. But we don't know how that had happened. We didn't know anything about it. The last time I saw Pema in this area, I'd asked him why he was here and he said he was looking at a rocky hill containing a lot of minerals. Then I asked him if he had come to inspect the site and he said yes and nothing more about the work, says this woman.
We were innocent and didn't know anything. We knew only when the inauguration ceremony was held. At that time, only the women were at home and the men had gone to the fields. Pema June then told the women that he had all the necessary documents to begin the survey work.
Pema June, in his defense, said that his company, which is carrying out the survey, has approval from the Department of Geology and Mines and is complying with DGM norms.
This is the investigation. Mineral prospecting investigation is the prerogative of the government. This is the preliminary investigation period. Investigation period. I mean, it's really not necessary. Investigation. It has all the approval is there. Now, once the approval, if the mineral prospecting, the results come out positive, yes, then the GYT, then the process has to start gradually.
Then you are coming for
this thing. Then the public consultation has to be done.
The company's site engineer Sring has been asked to remove all survey materials immediately, although he has explained to the locals that only a surface feasibility study is being done, which will not harm the community. While the Hazonrab says works will be halted for the time being, Pema June maintains that survey works will continue. The Ha locals in turn adamantly argue that they will stop any mining works. Compiled for Kazang Tile, Tishinongmo, VBS News.
That's all we have for this edition of Bhutan This Week. Join us again next Saturday, same time, as we bring you a selection of our best stories of the week. Thank you for watching and have a good day.